Welcome to another daily dose of SAP Analytics Cloud. This time we take another look at some of the recommendations from the book Solid, Outlined and Hatched. This time we will take a look at chart labels and legends. So let's start a quick model that we can use in SAP Analytics Cloud. We have a very simple data set. We have one column for the month, one column for the revenue as a measure, and we have another column for the dimension product. So here we see the data. We're just making sure that the month has been recognized properly. We use dimension product, and then we make sure the revenue is being configured as a measure, and then we can basically create the model. So now we have the model and we can start building our story. So here we are, we start building the story and we just put a simple chart into our story. In this case, what we would like to show is to use actually the month as the chart axis, the revenue as a measure, and we want to break down it by product. So here we are. We configure the month as a dimension, and we're going to drill down to the month later on, and we're going to have the measure revenue. And here we have the revenue broken down by month. So we also want to see the different products. So we're going to change the chart type to a stacked chart, and then we're going to change the color configuration to actually use dimension product. So this is the chart that we see now, and you can see already some problems we will fix, but we're going to make some adjustments on top. Like in a lot of cases, the default chart that the software would generate would also show actually the y-axis and would not show data labels. In SAP Analytics Cloud, this already has been addressed and the default would be what you just noticed. But here we have actually how in most cases the default chart would look like. We have a y-axis instead of using data labels. We have color that doesn't necessarily have a meaning. We have the legend on the top. So what are the problems with the chart? So first of all, you would have to navigate constantly between the legend and the chart and actually move your eyes from top down to the chart to make sure you're looking at the right color matching up to the right product. As I already mentioned, the y-axis doesn't really help because you're going to have to move, between left and then the right hand side. On top, a stacked chart might not always be a great idea because we would have to do the math and actually calculate how much, in this case with the y-axis, for example, how much really, let's say, product A in January 2019 is. So how can we fix these problems? So let's first of all make a copy of the chart. And then we can use the copy and start fixing some of the problems. The first item we're going to fix is we're taking away the y-axis and we replace it actually with the data labels. The data labels are much easier to consume for the people. It's easier to read the numbers and easier to read the totals, for example. So we're also going to quickly format the data labels so they all have the same number format, they all have the same font and font size. The other part we're going to fix is the legend. In this case, we have a legend that has been placed above the chart. What we want to do is we actually want to place the product names on the right hand side next to where the product is shown. So in SAP Analytics Cloud, this is called an inline legend. So you can see now the product names are actually shown on the right hand side, much easier to consume. The last item we're going to fix is actually the color. I'm sure some of you might actually prefer the different shades of blue, but in this case, let's, for example, use a shade of gray, and instead of black, just revert the color palette. And I'm just going to uncheck the color sync so we have a clear before and after. I'm going to put the blue coloring back on the original chart, and then we have a clear before and after chart. So here we can see now on the left hand side the original chart with the y-axis, without data labels, with the blue coloring. On the right hand side, the shades of gray used for the different products. We're using data labels, and we're using the legend on the right hand side called inline. Much easier to consume. So I hope that this kind of like another session from the book Solid Outline and Hatched helps you to kind of like learn more about visual standards and visual notations. And I want to say thank you for watching and listening.